So when I'm thinking about you have a certain amount of money and you can't figure out which stock to buy, the first thing I like to think about is what companies do you really understand very well? And once you figure out what companies you understand very well, you've read their 10Ks, then you can kind of go from there and figure out what makes the most sense on a valuation. We start going into the metrics, the forward P, the trailing P. But too many times people get what I call analysis paralysis, where they're looking into many different stocks, and maybe they like three stocks or five stocks, but they don't necessarily love those ones. So they're still trying to figure out, like which one should I buy? Which one should I buy? And I can tell you with things like Robinhood app and now like almost all the online brokerages, don't charge for trades. It's almost best to start investing a smaller amount of money in companies you like rather than be in a situation where you're waiting for just that perfect stock to put all $5,000 in. Because a lot of times people don't ever even jump into the market because they're in a situation where they're scared that this might not be the best decision. And I can just tell you, if you're thinking about, you got a certain amount of money, yes, you got to look at all the metrics we talk about in my private group and all those sorts of things. You got to, understand a business model. You got to understand business on a level that you can understand if a business is going to grow in the future or if it's going to shrink in the future. You have to do all that. But at the end of the day, you just got to get in the market. And a lot of people, they have money on the sideline, but they refuse to buy stocks. Not because they're necessarily looking at it as, I just don't want to buy it, but because they're trying to figure out, is this for sure the best place for my money, or is there something else? Sometimes you just got to jump in. You got to get in the market. That first $100 invested, that first $1,000 invested is huge. And a lot of people don't make that big step because they get analysis paralysis, and they're scared in the end. They have fear of what happens if this $5,000 goes down to $3,000. And so when I just kind of look at all that, at the end of the day, you just got to get in the market, but make sure it's always in companies you understand and you're paying a fair valuation for it, and you believe in that company over the long term. And there's plenty of great companies out there. Just people don't, they choose not to invest in them sometimes because they're scared, and that's what it really comes down to. Don't be scared. You got to get in the market. You got to get in the pool and swim a little bit.